he was very excited. He sent me a message today. He said, Sahan, I really want to tell today. And I said, that's awesome, but the lineup is full. And then half an hour later, one of the storytellers who I had asked a long time ago to tell it this night sent me a message, I have food poisoning. So then I sent him a message, very excited. I'm like, hey, yes, well, lucky for you. And then I thought, hold on. What's going on? No, I'm not saying. I just think it's a bit of a coincidence, which is fine. Life exists of coincidences. Because he's really a swell guy. Really. He's a very kind guy. He has a very good heart. He's the kind of guy, you look at him, you think he wouldn't hurt a fly ever. It's that kind of guy, he comes from a culture of from a caste that there are stories of you have to cover your mouth because you don't want to swallow a fly, and to that point you have to sweep in front of you because you don't want to step on an insect. This is someone who comes from that culture of respect, and it's my incredible honor to have him come and tell his stories, and with that finish the night. So guys, please give a very, very warm round of applause for Bipin.
Hey guys. It's really bright. That introduction really threw me off completely. So, I grew up in India, and my entire childhood was completely ruled by books. The two types of books, primarily Gandhian essays, which means I only do true stories. I don't ever tell lies. And the other thing is a lot of Russian literature. And they really helped me find my true calling. By true calling, it's not necessarily your job, right? It often is the activity you want to do, or something that if you take it out of your life, who you are changes, right? That activity. Just give me a woo. So for those of you whom it's dancing,
What?
if your true calling is something which is dancing, if you really like dancing, give me a woo. Music. What's her name?
What?
Ismail.
Smile.
Books.
You gotta make some noise, guys.
Books. What's her name? Fleur. Music. Isa. So, the Russian literature helped me find my true calling, and it's killing humans. I'm one of those what you call serial killers. If that scares you, just because you like books, right, doesn't mean you'll read any book. There is some taste. There's a class to it. You don't end up killing anyone, so don't worry about it. Right? But what happens is, for some people, there's a phase in your life where you don't enjoy your true activity. It's often a sign of depression. This is a story of my struggle with depression, how I overcame it and learned to enjoy it again. So what happened is, one day I randomly picked up this guy, really healthy, put him in my basement, not basement, there's a room somewhere. It's a beautiful room that I've designed. The tiles are blue and white and exactly even numbered. The colors on the wall and the paintings that I've put, everything is symmetrical, as if it's out of a Wes Anderson movie. And I tied him there, but I was just not feeling it. So I came home and I kept switching from Netflix to YouTube, and I kept delaying, and by the time I got in the mood, the guy had starved to death. And when I saw that, I realized I needed help. So I found out a therapist, and I reached to her office. And the place where I park my bike to her door, there are 10 tiles, red and grey. 5 red, 5 grey. It really put me in a good mood. So I reached there and I see she was wearing this exact t-shirt. Any computer nerds in the house? Any computer nerds in the house who can read this? To be or not to be, that is the question. What's in here? Koro. So it's Shakespeare, right? And she was wearing this. And I enter, she welcomes me, and in front of me there's a poster, "Your mind is tossing on the oceans." Now the Shakespeare quote. Now, I've always felt Shakespeare is overrated. So I'm like, this person is idiotic, man. I can't. But then I'm here, I'm paying for it. I can also evaluate whether she can be one of the victims and all that. So we enter, and then we start talking. So she's like, "What's the problem?" I tell her, "I don't enjoy my favorite activity anymore." She goes, "What activity is it?" So I say, "Storytelling." And then we talk for an hour. By the time we're done, she goes, "Your depression stems from impulsiveness, which stems from procrastination." She's basically calling me lazy. And I'm really annoyed at her. So I'm contemplating, should I take care of her now? Should I take care of her later? And then behind her, I see another quote from Hamlet. "For there is neither good or bad, but thinking makes it so." Maybe she's not that much of an idiot. And I'm not in the mood to kill right now anyway. So like, what's the difference? So we actually continue the therapy sessions, and I find them very interesting. So over the time, I distill it down to 3 things which really help me out. One of them, she goes, is if you are ever overwhelmed, just pause and observe. And I tried it next day. So I had this woman tied up, and then I was not feeling it. So I calmed down. She was also shouting, but then I didn't do that. I just sat down, meditated for it, paused, reflected how I was feeling, what was the cause of my anxiety. I let it all play out. And by the time I had realized it, it all subsided. And I really enjoyed the kill. It really, really worked for me. The other thing she taught me is if you don't do it regularly, long for it. Let the pain call you. So when you're telling the next story, take a longer break. You have to really ache for the next one. So I started trying it. I was not killing as often anymore, but I was enjoying almost all of them. Almost all of them. The third thing she taught me was very interesting. She goes, mind is for processing, not storage. Get a diary, start writing down your plans. I can't do that, right? As a serial killer, you can't do that, right? So she's like, I understand you are privacy conscious. Why don't you use this app? It's encrypted. So it will only be decrypted from your keys. Even the people running this app can't read it. So I'm like, sure. And I start doing it. It all helps me, right? And then I arrive for another session, and there's construction going on. One of the tiles is broken. Which means I have to put my feet on 5 red tiles and 1 grey tile. I'm really pissed. And I see this construction guy, he's trying to be friendly, smiling. Goedemiddag. I'm pissed. I just freaking grab him, take him, and take care of him. So I missed the session. The next time I go there, she's not her usual jovial self. She sits me down and she goes, "Did you enjoy your last storytelling?" And I say, "Yes." He goes, "Stop lying. You little shit. Did you enjoy your last kill?" So I say, "I want to see where this is playing." I'm like, "No." And she goes, I want to make sure that I'm not wasting my time on it. So she opens up for a bit. She goes, apparently she's also a serial killer. She saw something in me, so she decided that she's going to guide me. But apparently I've really disappointed her. And she thinks the promise she saw in my eyes are not there. So she goes, tell me, when was the last time you really killed and enjoyed it? You're not one of those wannabe serial killers. So I tell her that around 1.5 years ago, what had happened, I'd gone on a trek in Appalachian Trail. And I was trying to figure out whether this is for me or this is not for me. So I wanted to stop killing for a while. And 7-8 weeks go, 8 weeks go, 9 weeks go, and 10th week I just can't take it anymore. I see this 11, 12-year-old girl and I kill her, and I really, really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So I tell her, and she goes, when was this? I said, March last year. And she just is stunned. She goes, was the girl wearing a purple frock? And I go, yeah. And she starts sobbing. And I realize that I can't let her go right now. So I grab my bag, I'm starting to take my knives out. And then she's saying something, she's murmuring something between the sobs. I'm like, what? And then I hear, thank you. So apparently what happened is she was on the same trek. And she killed the parents of the girl, but she could not bring herself to kill the kid, and the kid ran away. And she had always been worried that what would have happened to the kid. Now that she knew that I've taken care of the kid, she was relaxed. And we really bonded on this. So what happened is, started working together. I started pretending to be her assistant. We used to help people get better. And then once they started getting better, I learned so much in those days. Around almost a year later, to celebrate our friendship, we decided to go on the Appalachian Trail again together. Of course, I was worried how it's going to play out. So I thought that I'll grab some trekker and kill them. And she goes, no. I want you to long a little longer. You've never gone without a killing for more than 4 months. I want you to try this time. 4 months go. It's a long trek, right? People know that. 4 months go. 4 months, 1 week goes. 4 months, 3 weeks go. And she's sitting with me, helping me meditate and control. So we are both sitting and meditating and sitting. And I pick my knife and start stabbing her. And as I'm stabbing her, I'm awash with this sensation of joy, but also pain. And during the last stab, I shit you not, in her eyes I see pride. In that moment, I know that she knows that I know that I'll always be a last-minute person, I'll always be a procrastinator, and it's all right. After half an hour, as I'm taking care of her body, I read her t-shirt now that I'm calm. I read her t-shirt, and there's another Shakespeare quote, which is, I love you with so much of my heart that there is none left to protest. And as I'm wiping the blood off my face, I realize it's not blood, it's tears. In that moment, I've come to this realization that she was not wrong, that to truly enjoy a kill, you have to long for it. But the real enjoyment, right? It only comes from killing somebody you have a true connection with. And tonight, I've made such beautiful connections with you.